Hi guys, today happen to have another pre-ban game versus Mega Karibo, and I guess a few things I wanted to talk about on this game are, number one, I love how refreshing the teams are in a matchup against each other. There's not something that is immediately overbearing against the other team. I feel like Metagross kind of can be, but Salazzle honestly just puts that thing in check. We've seen how it works out. As soon as it switches in, it just immediately gets threatened out. But in terms of like everything else, it works out great. Like it's just a nice slap together thing. That's what I go for. I've never claimed to be inherently great at the game. I aim more to make you laugh with how I play and what I pick versus how I actually play myself. That's why when I go to tournaments, I kind of go serious, but it's like if I lose, I lose. It's kind of whatever. And then if I win, hey, great, awesome. But more importantly, as long as I left you with a smile at the end of the video, that's mission accomplished. That's a win in my book. That's what that means. So I've got my team. He's got his. The other thing I was thinking about randomly today is, if you know a thing or two about my Sun playthrough / my Sun opinions and stuff, right off the bat, Silvally is my favorite Pokemon, bar none. But we're probably not going to get a Silvally plush anytime soon, not that I've ever seen. Which is why when every generation rolls around, everybody picks two favorites. They pick their favorite, and then they pick their merch favorite. So it's like, one, if you were going to buy merch or a plush or something like that you're positive it's going to have stuff of it. So Komala, big second right there. But first is Silvally. I got to give it to him. I think I kind of want to talk about the leads here is I'm not normally one to bring a low Raichium Z to a game, but on my stream I do have a reward tier where you can spend stream coins, which you earn for every minute that you watch the stream, and you can use it on certain interactive rewards that there are with the battles, and one of them was you get to pick a Z crystal for my team, and then in this case it picks a Pokemon because somebody said use a low Raichium Z. So I was like, you know what, I'll do that. I will do just that. And I'm immediately disappointed in the first two turns where I go for a Psychic on the Primarina, get the special attack drop, and fail to knock it out with a Thunderbolt on the next turn. I didn't want to burn out my Z move, but honestly, I should have. Right there, I should have. There was not really much of a reason not to. I don't think I saw any ground types. I think I just saw resist, if anything, and it probably wouldn't have switched in immediately right there. But because I failed to use my Z move right away, wanting to save it for later, despite the fact that I almost died on turn 2, I'm now left at 1 HP instead. And as long as there's no hazards up, I should be okay to use it for later. I do have a spinner in the form of Komala, so if I need to keep the hazards out of the field so Raichu can come back in for literally 1 HP's worth of work, I can probably do so. And believe me, I get some mileage out of that 1 HP. But for right now, you know what Komala does. You know what Komala does on my channel. The damn thing, he's wearing a vest under all that effort. He's wearing a vest that can withstand assaults, and that's what he's here for. On top of that, I do... Oh, excuse me, got breakfast caught in my teeth for a second there. He can take these hits really well, and he also has a pretty good matchup against Salazzle because he can't get burned by Flamethrower, and he can't get poisoned by Sludge Bomb. I don't think Corrosion even overrides Comatose or anything like that. I'm curious to see how that would work, because I don't think Corrosion overrides abilities. I think it just overrides the Poison and Steel typing. So if it wanted to go for Toxic, I don't think that would even work there. But on top of that, as you can see, since it's a lefties one, I'm not taking too much from it, and I didn't know whether or not it was sub-disable or if it was sub-nasty plot, which is why you see me go for return and then U-turn. Seemed like a good play, but in reality, I didn't want to get disabled on return, was it? Because I don't have Earthquake, which definitely would have helped me out there. Right here, huge fucking mistake, because I thought he was physical and he was gonna DD in my face and I could just like psychic him afterwards, because I think I'm a little bit physically bulky, so I might be able to take it, but not a special one. No, not happening whatsoever. So I get my rocks up and just immediately die. The rocks do help out on this next turn, as you're gonna see. It's kind of an immediate karma situation, because he does lock himself in on clanging skills, and I say lock himself in because that fucker is absolutely specs. There's no downing it. But if this was a Sash Nihilego, it just immediately dies. I mean, even with it's a neutral hit, Nihilego is kind of fragile, and this is a Banded Bulu boosted by Grassy Terrain. Like, if it's boosted by Grassy Terrain, and it is a Banded Bulu, it's a very, 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 very powerful hit, where if you don't resist it, you better be like super bulky. Like, you better be like Chansey tier bulky. Chansey doesn't even necessarily resist it. I feel like you'd probably kill yourself trying to kill off Chansey. Probably a bad example. I'm just thinking more of the Eevee Maybe Porygon 2 is a better example there. That's ultimately what I'm going for. Not the dying to Sludge Bomb, by the way, part. That part kind of sucked, because that's actually going to come into play later. That I lost it, but if you can kind of sympathize with me for a second here and see why I did it, I didn't want him to get a sub and a nasty plot Despite the fact that it is a ×4 resistance, I feel like I could have done at least 25% being banded. And I still don't know whether or not he has Disable, but I'm going to go into Komala right now just to take advantage of the grassy terrain and, you know, potentially take a hit. It's a bit scary, but it's what I got to do. I didn't want him getting a sub. I've been swept by these things before. They're kind of scary. The one thing I'm noticing about my team as well is outside of Mega Metagross, everything is pretty slow, and everything is still slower than just a plain-ass timid Salazzle. So not the kind of boat I want to be on, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to dispose of this thing as quick as possible. And, I mean, as long as the grassy terrain's here, I should be okay to take it on. And I'm not taking too much damage from it either. On top of that, I haven't been in a situation where I've needed to rapid spin, so I don't have to switch in Komala as much. I think, actually, Komala really only needs to be switching in against Salazzle. This is a special threat, but this thing is a big special threat. Like, this is beyond Komala's capabilities. I need to get more damage off on it before, and I think I maybe even need to get a little bit more HP, but the thing is I'm not going to be able to do that as long as grassy terrain's gone. So, right here, he ends up going for Focus Blast, because I was like, oh, what's he gonna do? He's not gonna do anything important. I forgot he was special again as I switch in my physically defensive Arcanine and nearly die in one shot, which was absolutely terrible. I am banking definitely on the Focus Blast miss here, so I think what I ended up going for right here is Morning Sun as he ends up switching out into his Araquanid, and I make another mistake here just for the sake of research. I wanted to say, hey, you know what? Araquanid's base special defense is much higher than its defense, but I still want to see how much a neutral Flare Blitz does. And it turns out, you know, since I'm physically defensive Arcanine, I don't have any attack investment, which kind of comes into play my attack stat, A. B, Water Bubble cuts the damage of fire moves in half. So essentially it's a resisted hit because the water typing in itself resists fire, and then Bug is weak to fire, but then Water Bubble adding another resistance of fire means that Flare Blitz barely does 25%. If that. It didn't even bring it down to yellow, so it did less than 25%. And I just immediately die to a Liquidation. So, this actually kind of works out well in my favor, though, because he ends up being Life Orb, and kind of pushes him to the point where it's like, you know what, maybe Raichu, 1 HP, McSqueaking along here with a Volt Switch, I think I can do this. And if he wants to leave it in to die, then I get rid of it. I give up a little bit of initiative. Worst case scenario, I bring in the Metagross, and then Salazzle comes back in, which is what I think I ended up bringing in Komala. Okay, that's fine. That means a Como is probably coming in. I would not doubt that, because that thing just immediately punches. Yep, that thing immediately punches holes on my team. It's absolutely terrifying to fight. I definitely need to. I have a special Como, but it's not a Specs one. I think it is a Life Orb one with Autotomize. I always have trouble with that word, even reading it. But I'm looking here, and he ends up actually predicting my switch to Metagross and ends up going for a Flamethrower, and that just completely bops me. So, I'm not sure. I think the crit probably mattered a little bit. It is Specs. I don't know. I'm not sure of Como-O's potential there. Maybe? Maybe. I'm saying a lot there because I kind of question it. I mean, damage calc would be kind of relevant here in the comments if y'all want to help me out with that. I'm not fretting over it at the end of the day. I mean, maybe I guess I am. I've kind of lost switch-ins to Serena at this point, which is ultimately what I'm the most scared of. But look at that. Komala is picking up a little bit of work immediately after. I get rid of the Salazzle. This thing is still, you know, threat number 1 on the list here in terms of things I have to get rid of in order to work it out. But Focus Blast can miss. That's, oh man, good old Focus miss since Gen 4. So, gonna go for a return there, do a pretty good chunk of damage, and can we get 2? We get 2, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's up. Pog fucking champ. Get another return here. Even if it didn't KO, I'd be able to pick it off with a Sucker Punch from there. Absolutely. Now, despite the fact that I'm hyping up Komala so much here, I have nothing for a Scarf Serena that happens to hit both high jump kicks. So, Komala just immediately dies to that. I figured I was going to go return into Sucker Punch if that was the case. And if it missed right here, I could have gone for my Z move, but it doesn't miss, and I actually just end up dying to this thing, which happens to be his last one. So, I'm not mad. It was a really fun game up until the end there because that wasn't something I was expecting to see, and it got me. At the end of the day, it got me, and that's what I love about those bonds, you know. Could a Scarf Serena put in some work? Yeah, absolutely it can. Did it? Yeah, definitely. Was it fun? Of course. I hope you guys liked it too. It was a little bit of a shorter one, but that's what I got on the channel today. So if you did, you can leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe. I always mess up at the end. I've been saying this shit for years. If you liked what I did, you can comment, subscribe, do your thing. You guys know how it goes, etc., etc. All the stuff, all the links and whatnot. You already know. Social media's in the description where you can catch me and all that stuff. If you want a link to the Discord, I would tweet me or send me a message on Tumblr or some other thing like that. I can provide you a one-time use link to get in there, and that's where we kind of talk and just do all the stuff for Twitch and whatnot. So anyways, that's gonna do it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.